I think we're live. All right, it says live. All right. Saturday Morning Comics is now live. Let's take a look here. All right, it says live. All right. Okay. Saturday Morning Comics is now live. Let's take a look here. Let's see. All right, it says live. It seems to have it happening twice. I'm going to close that. Sorry about the noise in the background. I guess I had the I had it up on my YouTube channel as well. So I gotta get in there though for the chat. So let me see if I can make this all happen. Somebody's watching. All right, who we got here? All right, I just jumped into the chat, so now I'm there and I can chat as well. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to be kidless for this edition of Saturday Morning Comics, and I might as well for next week. So it could be this week and next week, 2 weeks in a row. This week it's because they had a sleepover opportunity. My dad offered to take the girls last night because it was my wife and I. It's our 16th wedding anniversary last night. So we got a night out. And as a result, I am kid-free for us for today. Darwin's here. Good morning, Darwin. The goal of Saturday Morning Comics, to chat, to share, to give reviews and feedback on what you're reading. Last week, my girls shared the comics that they had been reading over the last couple of weeks. I didn't get a chance to share because they were doing such a great job. I was like, hey, girls, you're on it. So today, it's my turn. And if you want to chime in on what you've been reading, what you're caught up on, this morning, I got up kind of early. I got my tea, and then I dived straight into the last few books I needed to read. I've been really good about my reading list. I think there's only a few titles, and they're mostly trades, that I haven't been reading consistently. And I'm going to take a bunch of them with me out to Palm Springs next weekend and just kind of power through a bunch of those. So I'll probably be sharing a bunch of trades that I've been reading next weekend for a shorter edition because I'm going to be out of town. Why? Well, once a year, my brothers and we go on a little getaway weekend to sort of reconnect. We see each other a lot. It's not a thing where one is on one side of the country or the other. It's really just a chance to spend some time with our kids, with our family, just the three of us and our dad. So this particular year, we're out in Palm Springs, and it'll just be me next Saturday. But I will still live stream. I'll find a little quiet corner. If my brothers won't harass me, I have an older and a younger brother. They both enjoy comics and nerd culture, but not like I do. So I'm not sure how interested they'll be. I will tell you, my dad has zero interest in these things. We forced him to see a few comic book movies, and that's about as far as we were able to go. So that's about it. Ryan is here, dude. Good to see you, man. The voice altering sequence in your last, firstly, so many things I want to say to Ryan. The latest episode of their Infinity War breakdown on Comic Tom's Infinity War break is so good. It's a really good one, considering it's an issue of a comic that I've never read, a character I care nothing about. I feel now I've got to go on Marvel Unlimited and read these issues because the review you guys gave was so spot on interesting and just caught my attention. But second to that, Ryan does some amazing acting. He reads several panels, several pages, and they do voice altering for one of them. I was dying. It was so good. So please, when we're done here, go check that out because Ryan nailed it. It was so, so good. Los is out shopping for Halloween supplies. Hey, Los, I'm looking for a killer Doctor Strange costume that's not going to set me back $7 million. I want to trim the beard and do Doctor Strange, put a little gray in the sides, and just put on the costume. So if you spot something like that, hit me up and let me know because that's what I'm looking for. I usually do a wizard or something at school, but I really want to transition this into a Doctor Strange costume I could wear every year. Um, yeah, you're right, Darwin. Fire Guy nailed it. So I'm going to jump right into some comics that I've been reading. I'm going to start with the sort of the worst and the best, the books that I've liked the most and or not been enjoying. I've got Death of the Inhumans here, and I have to say this has been good, really good. So I am fully caught up on this run. This Donny Cates run has been so good. I see a couple of them are signed. I got Donny Cates to sign the first 2, but I'm caught up on all 4 issues, and I've been talking a lot about issue 4 is so freaking good. If you have been reading it or you've got it set aside and you haven't gotten to it yet, I highly recommend it. The villain, Vox, has a really great backstory revealed in this issue. It is so messed up. Donny Cates has like created a villain that is mind-blowingly perverse and perfect for Halloween and just like so good. So definitely check that one out. That's definitely on the read it list. Gabriel's going as Quicksilver for Halloween. That's a solid one. Inversely, I'm going to say one that I am not particularly enjoying, sadly, Spider-Geddon. I snag all the edge ofs, the ones that were leading in. So I've got the punk rock Spider. I've got the 2 versions of issue 2. I got 3 and 4 here. I'm sorry, those are really bright. I read all of those, and they were okay. Those are the better ones because you get like the backstory for characters, and that stuff is kind of more interesting. But I gotta say, Spider-Geddon is not good. I love the cover. It was really cool, and I was hoping for something interesting. I hope it gets better. It just seems like it's been done. It's a rehash. There's no new element to what's happening, and that is disappointing. So I can't recommend that one wholeheartedly. And if you haven't tried it out yet, I would say maybe just skip it. It's probably not worth your time. Okay, so let me move those out of the way. So that's my first, that's my first read it, Death of Inhumans, probably skip it, Spider-Geddon. Fire Guy says you could rock a mean. I think I'd do a great Doctor Strange. I think I've got the body type, I've got the facial hair, I could totally trim up. The costumes are insanely expensive because there's so many elements, right? There's the necklace, right? You got the cloak, you got the shirt and the sleeves, you've got the pants, you got the boots. There are so many layers. And if you want it to look good, there's really awful cheap ones that look like garbage, or they only give you part of it, like just the shirt and the pants, no boots, no necklace, no cape. So you got to buy all this other stuff, and that's where it gets you, all that other stuff. So maybe I try to go out and buy a couple of items this year and then store them, and then a couple next year, so that it's not this like huge purchase. Let's see, long box. Also, John, I've had the cold run, that cold days run in my long box this whole time, but I haven't read any of it. You got to, which it's a good segue, Ryan, because I'm going to recommend the next storyline immediately after Cold Days in Batman. I've caught up now on issues, 54, 55, and 56 in the current Batman run. I will say this one has crummy artwork. It is poor, but it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a throwback to an older time. You get Batman and Nightwing are out fighting crime again together, but they're both thinking back to when they first started. So in that way, they're supposed to be like a retro style art. The story, though, is so kind and sweet to see. Nightwing is now there to support Batman, who's going through some really tough times, the same way Batman supported him when he was going through tough times. It's a beautiful little story, and it bleeds right into these next 2 issues. These next 2 issues where a villain from the past, KG Beast, he's like an assassin, shows up and forces them to deal with their relationship. And I think it even crosses over into the Nightwing issues, because I saw the Nightwing cover where Nightwing's head is shaved and he's got this huge scar on the back of his head that looks like I probably should go and pick that one up too. So that's on a hunt list for me. I'm hoping my local comic shop still has a couple issues of that, because it's really, these 3 issues are really well written. And ooh, I forgot to share the artwork. My God, the artwork is so, in this one in particular, issue 55, it is so good. I mean, just look at that. It's like the best of Jim Lee or something. It's like so unbelievably good. All the great, look at that. That's just badass. It's really, 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 really good. And it's got all the great Nightwing, like quippy, jokey kind of stuff where Nightwing is not taking the job very seriously and he's trying to cheer up Bruce. And Bruce is his usual dour grouch, you know, not having it. So really good. Definitely check that one out. Let's see who else is in the chat here. Kanika's here. Hey, it's Rada. Hi, Rada. This is a friend of Kate's from her class at school. Hi, Rada. The girls are sleeping over with my dad tonight, so they're not live on the morning stream this morning, and I'm really sorry about that. I will tell Kate that you said hi, that you stopped in to see her. Kate plays volleyball with Rada. Rada is really, really good. Rada plays like a champ on that team, so she is lights out. That is awesome. Let's see. So it's good. I didn't see you there. Sorry about that. Let's see. So what else are we doing here? That was Batman. Then in the mediocre, not so great realm would probably be the latest issue of Infinity Wars. You know, I've read the whole run. You know, it's an interesting storyline. The idea that Gamora would have a motivation to carry on her adopted father's work. That's kind of interesting. It seems slightly out of character for her, the extreme nature of what she's doing. I love the way they brought Loki in. Loki is playing a very interesting role. I think this is overrated for me. This, you know, they spliced together a lot of characters. So you've got like Moon Knight and Batman, and you've got Doctor Strange, Captain America, and all that kind of stuff. It's a little overrated, and I think in general not as exciting as it could have been. And they've already split a bunch of them back to who they were, right? Emma Frost Wolverine has already been split apart. That lasted like 1 issue or whatever. So I'm not loving that storyline either. I'll probably finish that one out, whereas Spider-Geddon, I think I'm already done with it. I think I'm already done with that one. I don't think I'm going to read that one again. So for those of you that haven't tried Infinity Wars, maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not. I didn't pick up any of the little side story issues where they have those characters having their own story. I skipped all of those, so I was kind of over that one. We'll see. What else? Oh, I'll go with this one. I definitely had to snag the latest Catwoman. These covers are just so good. So I've got the full set now, up to now, of all these Art Germ covers. But beyond that, the story's really good too. So you have Batman, he's dealing with the breakup in one way with spending time with Nightwing. She's dealing with it by traveling across the country to deal with family on her side. It's almost like they both have retreated to the comfort and need of family. And I'm very curious to see where her story goes. I don't know how many issues this run goes. I know that Art Germ has got 2 more covers that he's definitely scheduled to do, so it might just be a 6-issue storyline. But I'm really enjoying it, and I'm getting more backstory for Catwoman than I've ever known before, so I find it very interesting. Yeah, the mashups, Ryan, the Marvel mashup thing is kind of, yeah, I agree, overdone. And it could have been interesting, right? The idea that Gamora wants to do the exact same thing that her dad did, which is wipe out half of the population of the universe. But she doesn't want to kill anybody. She can't bring that on herself. So instead of killing everybody, she takes every 2 people and makes them 1 person. Just basically shrinking the universe by half, but not eliminating anyone. Instead, just putting them together, which is an interesting conceit. But they didn't do much with it. It was kind of just like, it seemed like like you're saying, like a sales ploy where they're going to sell something. So that part of it was kind of weak, in my opinion. But the Catwoman, I think, honestly, as much anger as everybody had over the wedding issue, the issues that followed it for both Catwoman and Batman have been really good. And if you miss it, if you gave up on those characters because of the wedding, then I think you're missing out on some really good storytelling and some top-notch art. You know, the artwork, interior and exterior for Batman, and of course the variants and the interior work on Catwoman are both fantastic. So don't skip out on those because you hated the wedding. I totally get the wedding disappointment, but don't miss out because they're doing some good storytelling, some really good storytelling. White Whale. Everybody, if you haven't subscribed, check out White Whale Comics. He's in the chat. He just came in. I just watched this morning his breakdown on Mike Mignola. Nobody, and I made this comment to him in his chat. Nobody that I know is breaking down artists in the way that White Whale has decided to start doing it. He started with an episode on Mike Mignola, an artist that I know very little about, but who I know is very talented, and I've appreciated his artwork from afar, just not read it. And he did this really, really, really cool breakdown of it, and got really into the style and the function and why it would be a certain way. He even got into, I'm a film guy, and Ryan, you're a film guy. He got into cinematography and the idea of crossing the midline, which is something that I learned in film school, and I was excited to see somebody present. It was a really, really good breakdown, and I think a really fun way for his channel to be different than anybody else's. So if you want to really check in, I'm a story guy, so I usually come from a place of story. But he's coming from a place of art, which is like, that's the beauty of comics. It's this mix of art and story, and it comes together in this one place. It's a visual storytelling medium. And he did a really cool breakdown, and I'm excited to see what other artists he decides to draw on, what other creators and talents he decides to pull in, because there's obviously an infinite amount of choices, but there's not going to be a lot of them like Mignola, who have this incredible career and unusual sort of style. But so check him out. It was really a good episode. Yeah, Dave, you're not going to be disappointed. You're really going to enjoy it. JD's in here. Hey, JD, how's it going, man? So obviously, I have caught up completely on Venom. That's the next book that I read. I just read issue 7, which is a really cool. So the first 6 issues have one storyline. It's that whole Venom with wings and the gods and the fighting the Venom gods. But then I snagged this blank variant, or the Virgin variant of issue 7, which breaks down. It's sort of like a epilogue, right? It sort of like catches you up on what happened, why did it happen, and where could this go next. And it introduces a sort of odd government agent villain character who goes by the name Reed Richards, but he says, I'm not that Reed Richards, I'm just Reed Richards, which is curious. And I'm sure Donny Cates is going to take that character somewhere and make him a little more of an interesting, because you really do have a lot of curiosity about where he's going to go, that character. And what I do like too is he made those first 6 issues so huge, and now issue 7 shows you that there's going to be repercussions from that. It's not like those are 6 issues and I'm going to tell my own story and they can be separate. It's like, no, there's an impact over here and it's going to affect everything after it. So really, really good. And I've caught up on the Venom storyline, and I even read a little bit of the First Host, which has been interesting, but not as good for me as the stuff that Cates has been doing, the Venom stuff he's been doing. It's been so good. White Whale, you are on it. White Whale, you are on it, dude, because my next storyline that I want to talk about is Ghost Rider. The Cosmic Ghost Rider storyline has been really good. And I would say where Death of Inhumans and Venom are really heavy and sort of gothic and kind of and dark, on the other side, you have Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is almost like playing in a sandbox when you're a kid and just kind of letting your mind go wild and just being creative. And I've enjoyed Cosmic Ghost Rider because it's just it's ridiculous. It's hysterically ridiculous. And the whole idea of trying to take care of baby Thanos and try to raise him right so that he doesn't become, you know, the monster that we all know he will become. I think it's just a really funny, kooky storyline. And then you have issue 3, for those that haven't read it, where all of these different versions of the Guardians of the Galaxy come in to try to stop him. And I mean, the issue is just full of ridiculously hysterical mashups. Ryan, it's basically making fun of what you're saying, right? They have a Rocket Raccoon with like a mech Groot body. They have Howard the Duck mixed with the Juggernaut. So it's this ridiculously like Juggernaut. Yeah, you can even see him. So there's the Juggernaut Howard the Duck. There's the Groot Rocket Raccoon mashup. It's all just it's hysterically funny. And you see Cosmic Ghost Rider, who has the powers of, you know, the Herald of Galactus, Silver Surfer, the Herald of Thanos, the Cosmic Ghost Rider, and Punisher. He's got all these things put together. He annihilates all of them. But it's funny, the wave after wave of mashup characters they try to send at him, and he just wipes them all out. So it leads to this issue, which got a lot of notoriety because you have Thanos in the future, who has now been raised by Cosmic Ghost Rider, coming back to visit and help his dad back in the past. And you get to see what sort of the fruits of the Ghost Rider's labor has created. He's only got a couple issues left, right? I think it's only a 6-issue storyline. So I'm curious to see how it finishes out. It sounds like they might want to use him in the new Guardians of the Galaxy he's making next year. So I'm curious just to kind of see where it all comes out. But it's funny, it's light, it's silly, and it's ridiculous. It's almost like a 6-issue what if. Like, it's really ridiculous. Let's see here. Kate says, yeah, I'm excited for his Guardians of the Galaxy run too. Let's see, missed out on the Virgin cover. You got the secret cover, Dave. Congrats, man. That's the book that's hitting. That's the book that everybody wants. I didn't particularly like the cover. I didn't have a chance at it though. My shop was out, and so I went with there was one of these left in my local shop. I loved these guys, and they saved one for me. So I was really grateful to snag one of these. It's just a really good story, though. The Kate's Venom, I don't even like Venom, and I love and read that. So it's really, really good. Let's see. Okay, White Whale, I'll catch you later, man. Thanks for the video, and I'm looking forward to your next one. See where it goes from here. I'm excited to see what artists you start picking to go next. So I'm down to my last 2, I think, stories that I wanted to that I've caught up on, that I wanted to talk to you guys all about. One that I'm like curious about, because I'm only 1 issue in, and the other that I went back to give it a second chance. So let's do the one that I'm curious about is Heroes in Crisis. So I read, Ryan, here's my DC. I read Heroes in Crisis 1. I snagged one, and it's really interesting. It brings up the idea of having a facility that cares for superheroes and tries to help them, and what would happen if an unstable superhero or an unstable villain were able to attack the facility, and what would that mean in the long term? I thought it was a very interesting idea. The whole Booster Gold Harley Quinn battle sequence is really interesting. It's hard to know who to root for. It's this kind of unusual sequence. I don't know where it'll go or if it'll be interesting in the long term, but in the short term, the first issue, I would definitely say check it out if you haven't, and I will be buying the second issue just to kind of see where it goes from here. Yeah, Gabriel, I agree. There's some intensity to it. It's the Heroes in Crisis is not light reading, right? It's powerful stuff, and it asks a lot because it skips around back and forward to this place, to that place, to this perspective, and to that perspective. But I like that. A challenging story involves me more. Just like Ryan and I loved Lost because it really challenged us. It was not something you could watch and then do Instagram at the same time, which I've done for a lot of shows that I haven't cared a lot about. I could do both, but you can't do that with something like Heroes in Crisis. It demands a lot of your attention. You can't read part of it, skip, come back, it doesn't work that way. Like a kid playing with action figures. I totally agree. And that's what Cosmic Ghost Rider totally feels like. It feels like a story that my brothers and I would have made up with our action figures playing in the backyard when we were a kid. You know, oh, I took the head off my Ghost Rider toy and I slapped it on this other character. Or I took the Punisher uniform off of the Punisher and I put it on Spider-Man. Let's just see what happened. Like, it was the kind of stuff we would do as a kid, but it would be ridiculous and silly, not serious. And that's where Infinity Wars, I think, is a lesser, and Cosmic Ghost Rider is more fun and more entertaining. But that's just me. Yeah, Gabriel's saying that you care a lot for the characters that die, or the impact that the story has on the characters in Crisis, and I totally agree. And that's what makes it interesting. So the last one is the Immortal Hulk, which, in all truth, in all seriousness, I went and I read the first issue and didn't like it. I'm that weird person, though. You know, I'm in the 1% on that one. It was a horror story. I'm not a big horror comic guy, and I just didn't get into it. And I heard people keep talking. I went back. I snagged an issue 3, and I read issue 3. I've missed issue 2. I wasn't won over, but then, of course, I was missing a story in between, so that could have been part of it on me. And then I saw a couple of the really great Alex Ross covers in my shop. This one for issue 6, and this one for the most recent issue that just came out, issue 7. And I had to get them. I snagged them both. And I will say I liked those 2 issues way more than 1 and 3. And I don't know if it started a new story, but now I'm going to definitely have to go back and get 2, 4, and 5, I think, are the ones I'm missing. It's more interesting to me to see and understand the psychology of Bruce versus the Hulk. And I think the writers have done a good job of really getting into that. I care less about the Hulk as like a horror villain or a monster. I really wanted to know more about what's going on inside with him. And that's what these issues got into. And of course, the big battle with all the Avengers and how they stop the Hulk and what happens after they stop the Hulk. All of that stuff I find very interesting. And of course, it is a horror story. And the very end, the very last picture, the last page has a wonderful reveal, just like that Death of Inhumans issue ended with that last couple of pages of being like, whoa. They do the same here in the Immortal Hulk issue 7's last few moments. It is mind-blowing. And I was shocked. I mean, it made me want to read more. So it's possible that I start getting some of the Immortal Hulk, and I stop with all these Spider-Geddons and maybe even with the Infinity Wars stuff. I don't know yet. But that's one that I'm more curious to read about. I'm still not 100% sold, but I'm definitely on the path to being like, okay, I'm willing to give it more of a shot. And I think my local shop has a second print of issue 2 and then first prints of 4 and 5. So I can probably get the ones I'm missing, and that'll give me a better idea of how far do I want to go with it. So what are you guys reading? Is there anything I should catch up on that I don't have here? This is what I've been getting basically week by week. There's only a few other books, some independent stuff like Oblivion Song. I haven't caught up fully on that, and some others like that. Bueller's here. Bueller, good morning. Sorry there's no kids this morning, but it's good to see you, man, and I'm sorry I missed your live stream last night. 8:30 is in my neck of the woods. It's early. I'm sorry that it's early. I'm a teacher, and I wake up super early. I'm also asleep at like 9:30, so that's just the way I roll. I'm sorry about that. Let's see here. Immortal Hulk is so good. Bueller's in the house. Okay, so Gabriel, I'm not the only one. I'm glad to see you were with me. I didn't like it at first. Okay, good. You didn't like it at first either. But I will say, try issue 6 and 7 together. They kind of go together, and see if you change your mind or if you feel any differently about it. You might like it more. JD says he's into Immortal Hulk. I see why. I totally get it. I just don't know if I've fully been hooked by it yet. Let's see what else is going on. Time zones are a hassle. Yeah. It's 5 somewhere. It's in Hawaii, right? Isn't it 5 o'clock in Hawaii, Ryan? Somewhere in Hawaii. I was about to watch your video really, but saw John was live, so I'm here. Thank you, Dave. That's very nice of you. Anybody who picks Bueller over me probably made a bad choice, but I support your decision completely. Murder Falcon. That was a pretty fun first issue. Murder Falcon. Firstly, it's got a great title. I'm assuming it's not the Falcon character from Marvel, that it's an indie storyline. What's Murder Falcon, Gabriel? Okay, Shanghai Red, Aberrant, Sword Daughter are all good. Dead Rabbit. I heard about Dead Rabbit. I haven't heard about those other ones. Shanghai Red, Aberrant, or Sword Daughter. John's a good guy, and I enjoy his vids. Thanks, Bueller. I appreciate it. And you know what? Honestly, Bueller is he's like the coach of the comic book community. He seems to be helping everybody. He helps. Comic Tom has like 6,000 subscribers or something insane. And he still needs coaching. He still needs support. I don't know who coaches Bueller, but the guy is the coach to the community. Like, I have gone to him so many times for support, and he is always there, and it's amazing. So at some point, I'm going to return that favor. Besides just paying it forward to other YouTubers, I'm going to specifically pay it back. So if you need a place to stay when you come to WonderCon, or you want to meet up in WonderCon and get a coffee or something, it's on me. In Orange County, it's on me. So he is the coach of the comic community. That's my new idea. You're the John Wooden of the comic book community. So somebody's reading Hulk. Gabriel likes it. He's reading it now. He's going to pull up the description. Okay, cool. Bueller saying that, yeah, Bueller answered the phone immediately when Tom and I needed. Dude, he's that guy, right? He watches my video, sees that I'm having a problem, and I get Instagrammed instantly. And he's like, this is what you do. Do you want to meet up? Let's do it right now. And so I'm doing it on my computer. He's doing it on his phone. We're like, yeah, he's always there. So let's see. Gabriel says, Murder Falcon. The world is under attack by monsters, and Jake's life is falling apart. No band. No girl, no future, until he meets Murder Falcon. He was sent from the Heavy to destroy all evil, but he can't do it. I'm assuming the next word is alone. He can't do it alone. This sounds interesting. How about the water boy? Bueller says he's the water boy of the comic community. I'm assuming you mean the Adam Sandler character. Water boy. Oh my gosh. I haven't seen that movie in so long. I don't think it's appropriate yet for my girls. All I remember, yeah, I'm not going to quote it. I'm not going to quote any of the bits, but it's so funny. Such a funny movie. My favorite part is when ESPN shows the highlights of other teams who are starting to put their water boys and their towel boys into the games, and they're just getting like murdered out on the field. The water boy nailed it. He said, okay, so he can't do it without Jake shredding up a storm. Now with every chord Jake plays on his guitar, the power of metal fuels Murder Falcon into an all-out kung fu fury on those who seek to conquer Earth. Wow. This sounds like, this sounds cool. It reminds me of, what is it, Scott Pilgrim. It's like a Scott Pilgrim storyline. That sounds cool. Hey, Jeffrey's here. Dude, how's it going, man? I've been enjoying your channel. You've been doing some cool stuff, man. John, hope all's going well. Good to see you this morning. Just stopped by to say hi real quick. Oh, I'm sorry you're going to work. I pity you. Thank you, though, for taking a couple seconds just to say hello. We're pretty much just wrapping up here anyways. I appreciate it. Okay, Daniel Warren is on it. Gabriel, is this a Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse? What's the publisher for Murder Falcon? No problem, Jeffrey. Thank you, man. It's always fun to have this community keeps growing, and then it's like, you know, honestly, the biggest challenge for me is just being able to watch all the different videos everybody posts. So I tend to like put one on in the car, and my girls put on their headphones and they tune it out. They can listen to their music, but I can, on the drive to and from work, I can be listening to, you know, somebody's video on this, and I can see the screen right there. So I can, if they hold up a, you know, I can glance real quickly down and not get into an accident. He says, Gabriel says it's Image. So Murder Falcon is an Image comic. Okay, so I'm going to look for that, Gabriel, the next time I go to the shop and just see if they've got issue 1. Because how many, oh, is it, I'm assuming it's new, that there's only a couple issues in. So maybe I can go and snag whatever they've put out already. JD, I saw that. I'm going to highlight contests in my coffee videos. Then yours is one of those I wanted to highlight, if that's okay. That's cool. So JD's contest is going to get a little highlighting. That's awesome. Jeffrey, owe you a video. Yeah, I'm planning out how I want to do the one for Jeffrey, how I want to make my reply to that one, because I really want to do something special. And today, what you see behind me here is basically what I'm recording today, which is my last part of my top 50 storylines that I own. So some of what you see here, these are going to be samples of what I'm going to share in my video that I'll probably put online tomorrow. My top 50 storylines ends tomorrow with storylines involving basically a single character, focusing in on one character and their story. And of course, it wouldn't be done without Lady Thor making her appearance somewhere. So some of these books you might see in my storyline. That's why they're here behind me, because I got them all out last night and kind of organized them so that I had everything I needed. Let's see here. It just started. Gabriel says Murder Falcon's a 1 issue in, so it might be the time to snag that if it's a good read. Jeffrey, my friend, I hope things are going well. Some other books I recommend are Hawkman, X-23, Plastic Man. I've definitely been reading or caught up on some of those. The one that I like a lot too, of course, is it's Hawkeye. Old Man Hawkeye is great. And I did not include that in here because I kind of feel like I've been saying it till I'm hoarse, that it's just a really great read. There are 9 issues in, so there's only 3 left, and then they're done with Old Man Hawkeye. That story's going to be finished. So I'm excited to see where it ends out. But that's just, it's just aces. That's one that you definitely should read and enjoy. Murder Falcon has a great looking cover. I'm really interested. Cool. If you want to hang out, awesome. Okay, well, that's pretty much it, guys. I don't know that I have anything else to share. My highest recommendations are for the Batman story, the Catwoman story that's going on right now, and for anything by Donny Cates. So Death of Inhumans is high on my list. Ooh. Sorry. Catwoman's high on my list. All these Catwoman storylines are really, really great. Anything Donny Cates does, those are the ones I'm reading and loving the most. And somewhere down here I've got Batman. Oh, there he is. Batman. Those are the books that I recommend the most. Sadly, I think the Marvel events that are being played out right now are probably the ones I would recommend the least. So you can probably skip some of those. I've gone a little bit long, so I'm going to wrap it up here and say goodbye. So John and I are chatting, helping out a friend, Sam's Tangled Web, doing a live stream with him on his channel. I love Sam. He pops in. He always adds something really great to the conversation, so I'll definitely be trying to check in on that one. Thank you guys for coming by. Bone Parish is good, JD. I've definitely been reading Bone Parish, so I think I'm all caught up on that one. I've got a few indie books like that and Oblivion Song. I'm catching up on those and enjoying those. Hope you guys have a nice weekend, and you know, hope to leave me a message and tell me if I missed a book that's really, really great. Thanks for coming by. I hit 11 at one point. I think I'm right at my peak, so I think we're doing really well. Have a nice weekend, guys.